welcome back. If we haven't met, I'm Sherry, and I'm here doing a follow up video. Now, follow up, you usually think that was just the video right before it, but in this case, it's a 5 year follow up. And if you want to know what happened in those 5 years, my husband and I did a restart video that you can watch about retirement's ups and downs. But today, I want to follow up. My granddaughter and I filmed a video about corn on the cob and how we freeze it. And we just put it in Ziploc bags, zip it up. We did cut the ends off basically, and then put it in the freezer. And you see, I've got two different kinds of bags. I've got one that's got four, so if I'm having company, or two if it's just my husband and myself. But they are frozen. You can hear them. Frozen solid. So my first step when I do this is I take them out and I open the Ziploc bag, which I already have done that. And I microwave them about 2 minutes. Now, I'm not the FDA. This may not be what you want to do, but I've eaten my corn this way now for several years, and I've never had a problem with it. But just want to put that disclaimer out there. But so that for this bag of four, I would cook it 7 to 8 minutes in the microwave. On this one, I would just cook for about 4 minutes in the microwave. And then once I've done that, you're going to see I'm going to do the steps that most people do when it comes right out of the field. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. And I microwaved this group of four for 8 minutes and this group of two for 4 minutes. Now, one thing I did say was I was cooking the corn. That's actually not true. I'm just preparing it right now because we're going to have corn cut off the cob. And so that's why I only cooked it for that length of time. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuck the corn just like many of our grandmothers did when they brought it out of the field. And what I did too as a child, honestly. But until I learned this method, I just thought, well, that was the only way to do it was to pull it out of the field, to shuck it, silk it, blanch it, and then put it, I think my mom did, in aluminum foil and put it in the freezer. But one thing I love about this method, and I'm not throwing this in the floor, I have a trash can here beside me. One thing I love about this method is the microwave helps remove the silks. I'm not sure why, but it does. It makes it so easy to shuck and silk corn. So as you can see, all the silks are coming off pretty much the first round, which is unheard of when you're doing it the old-fashioned way. So that in itself convinced me that this is the way I should do my sweet corn. And yeah, there's still a few silks, but nothing like doing it dry from the field. So I'm doing this, and my uncle actually taught me to actually fully cook the corn in the shuck. And that's what gave me the idea to start trying to freeze it in the shuck. If you wanted to cook it in the shuck, you would just cook it longer. And you could cook it straight for corn on the cob. Look how beautiful this looks. Now, we didn't grow this corn. We bought it at the store. But we have grown corn many, many, many years. And just did it this way. I'm all about making life easy. What I can do to make things simple is what I want to do. So this is a simple way. And you see there's the 4 ears. And then I have the two right here. that I will shuck and silk. And I also wanted to tell you that it doesn't take what my grandmother used to call milk out of the corn either. It's still got the juices inside the corn. The microwave does not hurt it at all. Freezing it this way has not hurt it at all, at least for us. Now, like I told you, I'm not the FDA. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just showing you what I do and how easy it is. So you make up your mind if you're willing to take that chance. But look at how those silks just roll right off of that corn. I know my grandmother would have loved that, and so would my mom. Okay, then my next step I do, because again, I'm making corn cut off the cob, is I just rinse it. And what I usually typically use is a pie plate, because a pie plate is not very deep and it makes it easy to cut off corn off the cob. And I usually do 2 passes over each side. And just go around once, and you see there's some silk. I can easily get that off. And this is the way my grandmother taught me how to do this. You do twice. Get the end there. And then you just kind of scrape it just to make sure you get all that wonderful juice that's in the corn. And when you finish, your corn should have like little, almost hole looking parts. Here's some at the end that I have to get off. And you just, again, go around it. We'll do one more together. It's so strange to me. Corn has always been my favorite vegetable, and I don't think any of my grandchildren like corn at all. I can make a pot of corn thinking I've got the best meal prepared, and then I'll say, "Do you want some corn on your plate?" No. It's amazing. But, you know, their world is different than mine. I grew up eating this. They have not, even though both their grandparents garden, both sets, and actually their mom's husband, their grandfather, he gardens much more than we do. They grow most of their food. We're just casual gardeners, I would say. But they still don't like corn. So, anyway. Okay, well, I'm going to stop there and finish doing this, and then I'll be back. Okay, now I have it in the iron skillet. You can see, like I told you, it's got plenty of the corn juice left, even after microwaving it. I put about 4 tablespoons of butter and about 1 tablespoon of bacon grease. That's a southern thing. I know many of you may not want that in yours, and that's okay. But in the South, that's how we cook corn. And so I'm basically just heating it through, melting the butter and the bacon fat. I'm going to add some salt and pepper. Let me go get the salt and pepper. Now, salt and pepper is just to taste, however much you like. Different people like different amounts. So I'm pretty fair-handed with both. because I like both, but not everybody does. So here we are. We've got our fresh corn that we microwaved. We cut it off the cob. Now we're cooking it on the stove top with butter, a little bit of bacon grease, some salt and pepper. We've got to let all of that melt. I've got my stove turned down a little bit, so I don't want to cook it too fast. I just want it to heat all the way through. And again, all these are to taste. It's whatever your personal preference is. Salt, pepper. I'd say probably a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, 4 tablespoons of butter, 1 tablespoon of bacon grease, just to give it that extra flavor. Okay. Looks like most everything. There's a little bit left. It's been turn it up just a tad to get it all. Kind of want to bring it to a boil, but not really boil it, just to bring it up to that temperature. That just lets us cook it through and through. One other thing that I forgot that I need to go get is I typically put just a tad bit of sugar in it as well. So let me get that. Okay, it's just now starting to boil, and I'm going to put probably about a tablespoon of sugar in it. Just to make sure it's sweet, because sometimes sweet corn is not very sweet, and you can tell this has really come up to heat. You can see it. So I'm going to turn it back down a little bit. And I'm going to add some heavy whipping cream in it. And maybe just once around the pan, just to give it some flavor, to make it a creamier corn. And then just let it cook. And I'll let it cook a little bit of that heavy whipping cream out of it, so it can be thicker. Okay. And I'm going to get a spoon over here so I can try it. See what I think. If I need anything else. I'm going to let it sit for about 5 more minutes, and it will be done. Okay, let me turn this. Let's see. I wouldn't change a thing. Thank you for cooking corn with me today, from the actual field to the freezer to the stove, and hopefully in my family's stomachs. We are looking so forward to this fresh corn. Again, you may not choose to do yours like that. If you do cook yours this way, or you've got a better idea, please tell me in the comments. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like. Have a great day.